Hello and welcome to We Ball Podcast. We're switching it up a bit. A little bit of a new system coming in. We're applying new tactics. I'm Luke Krumich. Joining me, as always, is Tyler DeSena. And you are getting this on a Tuesday, which means you'll be getting another episode later this week. But today we are going to be reviewing this week in the NFL. Tyler, we're in full swing. Week 4 is basically done. All we have is my Giants tonight, which I don't even want to talk about. How are we feeling after 4 weeks?
The Miami Dolphins lost yet another big regular season game that I hype up every year. Seems like every time it's like, hey, we just got to get one of these, and then it's disastrous. So that happened again. But as far as the rest of the NFL, there's a lot of really interesting storylines, both on the field and off the field. So we're excited to bring you a lot of those.
Yes, and we are going to start with what everyone seems to be talking about, Sunday Night Football. First of all, I just want to say everyone needs to just stop complaining about everything. People are like complaining about this Taylor Swift thing. The NFL is going to market. It's a company. I know it's your love, but it's a business. They're going to market. I'm sorry.
I want to talk about this, honestly, the whole Taylor Swift thing, because I think it's absurd that people are getting mad. I mean, I saw a tweet from a certain news aggregator that said, this is getting ridiculous. And it was a picture of the NFL's header being Taylor Swift. And they were mad about the NFL's Twitter header. First off, logging off is always an option. It is always
Roger Goodell, he runs that.
It is always an option, by the way, to step outside and look at the sky and touch some grass. That's the first thing. However, I think it's super cool that the NFL has found another market of now new fans, whether they're going to be long-term fans or not. There's likely some people that are going to watch what they're seeing because of Taylor Swift, then end up liking it. And if the NFL has an opportunity to bring in more fans by doing so, I think it's awesome. If you are mad as an NFL media person, then you don't understand what your job entails, which is to get the level of football out there to everyone possible. If there's more
you make money by people seeing your stuff. Like, yes, that specific person gets paid through Twitter.
Exactly. And if there are more people that are going to view all of your stuff, look at content, and, further the game of football, then there is no reason to be mad at it. I understand that you might be mad that, the only way that you could possibly be mad about this is you're mad that it's either people who don't understand the game watching it, which, okay, there's fans everywhere, or you're upset that it's women watching the game. And with that point, it would be
you're a loser.
Your entire fault.
Loser.
Yeah, and I just had to go on a little rant because I'm so tired of people saying, oh my God, this whole Taylor Swift thing is so annoying. First off, they show celebrities at every single football game. This one just happens to be recurring and happens to be bringing in another audience to watch football games. And nobody wanted to watch Jets versus Chiefs without Aaron Rodgers to begin with. And then all of a sudden, you know what happens? A bunch of people are watching, and we ended up getting a really good game on Sunday Night Football. So all I'm saying is there's nothing wrong with having more people watch the game.
Also, the less that commentators actually have to talk about football, the better, in my opinion, because a lot of them aren't good at their jobs. Taylor Swift is also giving us them talking about stuff that they don't understand, which most of them are pretty bad at talking about football anyways. It's fun. It's more fun that these commentators
I'm enjoying it.
Yeah, I don't get it. That's one thing. Another thing we have to talk about regarding the media is a certain former player and the way he was talking about a player who is clearly going through it and had a great game, lost the game, but had a great game in front of another player who just said that player played well and is a special talent. Like, Zach Wilson is clearly going through a rough time. We can all see that. Anyone with empathy understands that. I don't care if you like him or not.
He's been going through rough times since he got drafted there and was struggling. Yes. Like, this entire time, I know it's the NFL media, the New York media market, and you ask for this by becoming a New York media player, I guess. But
he didn't ask for it. He got drafted.
That's what I'm saying. He got drafted there, and ever since he got there, he's been under this insane microscope. And yes, he has not been good. That is like set in stone. This is the first time that he had a 2 or more touchdown game with no interceptions. That this is the first time in his now 3rd year of his career. He hasn't been good. We can get past that. But the weird attacks on him when he does have a pretty good game to say, oh, well, he's still not good. It's just, I don't understand why they have to go out of their way, like certain people in the media and just in general go out of their way to attack certain players that they've created this whole persona around. We have no proof that Zach Wilson is some bad guy, but the media has created a persona for him. We know nothing about the guy. Zach Wilson is not somebody that we see, like, he's not one of these guys that has like, here's his YouTube channel and his streams, and we see him like, acting in candid moments. Everything we've seen from him has been overall relatively positive, but the media's created this like persona around him that he's like too cool for school because he's like, like a good looking dude, and people are like, oh, he must be
he looks like everyone. A movie star.
Like, that's what I'm saying. And people like have now said that like, oh, he must suck. It's like the same way that if you're in like your like one of your high school classes and you see like the popular girl walk past, you're like, oh, she must be a terrible person. Like, why are we doing this around NFL
grown
players
men
and now trashing them? Grown men are doing this to other grown men. And I just think that the whole Zach Wilson hate train has gone way too far.
My thing is trying to bait Chris Jones after he complimented Zach Wilson on a great game and saying he has talent and he just needs some time. Trying to bait Chris Jones back into saying some ridiculous thing about Zach Wilson is so unprofessional and so sad.
It's just as disrespectful to Chris Jones as it is to Zach Wilson, because you're trying to start a beef that doesn't need to be there.
And you're honestly making Chris Jones out to be like, oh, I can easily manipulate this guy in an interview. Like you're acting like Chris Jones is some dumb guy. Chris Jones is great. Every time we see Chris Jones on a mic, he's awesome. He rocks. Mm-hmm. And he does very well. And he's a well-respected player in the NFL. If you think you can do that to him, you're disrespecting him and you're disrespecting a lot of other NFL players in my mind.
Yeah, I think the amount of weird off the football field media stuff we've seen this year, it's just I think we've gotten to the point where we're starting to judge a lot of these people's character based on their play on the field. And I think we have to understand for just a brief moment that these are people at the end of the day and not little like football throwing robots and that like just kind of do your bidding and, give your fantasy team points. Like they are people at the end of the day.
Attention fantasy football fanatics. As draft season approaches, don't neglect the most important draft pick of all, your game balls. We all know how injuries can ruin a season, so let MANSCAPED take care of that Reggie Bush of yours with their skin-safe technology. That should guarantee you to have a smooth ride into the playoffs. The leaders in the below-the-waist grooming have created a championship lineup with their Performance Package 4.0, and it's time for you to do the same. Join the 9 million men around the world who trust Manscaped and get ready for kickoff by going to manscaped.com for 20% off plus free shipping when you use code WEBALL. We all know that confidence is the biggest thing, whether it comes to recording a podcast, interviewing professional athletes, playing on the field, or even trimming below the waist. And for that last one, Manscaped has helped out tremendously with their Performance Package 4.0. Inside the Performance Package 4.0, you'll find the Lawnmower 4.0 trimmer, Weed Whacker ear and nose hair trimmer, Crop Preserver ball deodorant, Crop Reviver toner, Performance Boxer briefs, and even a travel bag. Slotted at quarterback, we've got the Lawnmower 4.0 trimmer. This spaceship is here to guide you on your journey to trim your body, balls, and even your A-gap. This 4th generation trimmer also features a cutting-edge ceramic blade to reduce grooming accidents thanks to their advanced skin-safe technology. The Lawnmower 4.0 has a 7,000 RPM motor, a new multi-function on-off switch that can engage in a travel lock, and is even waterproof. The Lawnmower 4.0 also has a 4000K LED spotlight, brighter than Bryce Young's future in the end zone. The Performance Package 4.0 also includes the Weed Whacker, the ultimate flex. Watch it run through your ear and nose hairs like Aaron Donald runs through to sack your favorite quarterback. The Weed Whacker is also waterproof and uses 9,000 RPM motor-powered 360-degree rotary dual blade system. This ear and nose hair trimmer provides proprietary skin safe technology, which helps reduce nicks, snags, and tugs in those sensitive ear and nose holes. Don't forget to use the Crop Preserver ball deodorant and the Crop Reviver to help your little bench warmers be on their A game while feeling the sun's heat. Manscaped even threw in 2 free gifts to the Performance Package 4.0, the Manscaped Boxers and the Shed Travel Bag. So who's the commissioner now? Get 20% off plus free shipping with code WEBALL at manscaped.com. That's 20% off and free shipping with the code WEBALL, WEBALL, at manscaped.com. It's time to put the PP back in PPR and get a grip on your pigskin this season with Manscaped.
But with that, we are going to kind of move, I think, into the on-field game that happened.
Please.
I don't know if you want to start with Sunday Night Football or if you want to move past it into another game. I'm feeling free to let you go here because I know you've got some things you want to talk about.
Okay. First of all, I think we should start with Sunday Night Football. I think, again, like we said, Zach Wilson had a really good game last night. Zach Wilson looked like a good quarterback last night. I don't care what the final result is. They weren't helped by the refs. They weren't helped by, all this stuff. And Patrick Mahomes is still Patrick Mahomes. But Zach Wilson had more completions, more yards, more touchdowns, less turnovers than Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah, he had the fumble at the end of the game, but Mahomes had 2 picks as well. So
yes.
Yeah, it came at a bad time, but I mean, Zach Wilson had a really strong game against the Chiefs defense that is really good. Like a really,
very
really
good defense.
And it's just, he's not going to get the credit for it because he lost, and he took the credit for that at the end of the game, like the blunt of the blame there. But he outdueled Patrick Mahomes
really well. And listen, when Allen Lazard is your leading receiver with 61 yards, that's not awesome.
Yeah,
but Garrett Wilson had 9 targets and 6.5 average per catch. Like, he hit a lot of people. He spread the ball around 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 different receivers. I mean, he played really well. He didn't get much help from the run game. I mean, 56 yards from your leading back isn't awesome. Dalvin Cook, 16 yards on 5 rushes, not great.
Yeah, they were playing a good defense, and he's going to have to spread the ball around. And the one thing that people don't really address with this Jets team is they don't really have a number 2. Like, who are you going to go to without Garrett Wilson? I mean, I know Allen Lazard had a pretty decent game and is a good receiver, but that's not a high-end number 2. So it's not like he has a whole bunch of guys to throw to. Dalvin Cook had a pretty horrendous game. There's just not that many options on this Jets team, especially against a defense that's led by Spagnuolo, who just knows how to take away everything that teams do well and be really aggressive.
Shout out to the Jets defense as well. I mean,
they're so good. They're going to
60 yards. They kept the number 2 receiver on that team was Isaiah Pacheco, which shout out Lil Poppy, but
they're going to beat the Jets are going to beat some teams, some really good teams. They already did it against Buffalo. They're going to beat a lot of really good teams just off the back of their defense because their front gets after it and their DBs are insane. So it's just they're a really fun defense to watch. Robert Saleh is hyper aggressive, and he kind of took some of the Fangio principle stuff and did a lot more man off of it and just knows how to play it really aggressive. Yeah, he knows how to do it really aggressively. And even with not the CJ Mosley is good, but they don't have a Fred Warner, and that defense is still awesome. So, I got to give a pat on the back to the whole Jets team because, playing without your star quarterback and without a bunch of guys, and you bring the Chiefs to the brink, pretty fun game.
Let's move on. Let's talk about some other quarterbacks. We are seeing a rookie quarterback who is doing the one big question that we had with CJ Stroud, was, can he do it out of structure? I know he can do it in structure. How high is the ceiling out of structure? What are we talking about? That's what we repeated on and on and on last year. You heard me say it. Tyler, I'm pretty sure you probably said it too.
Oh, without a doubt.
That was the question because at Ohio State, it was easy for him. He's come in to this Texans team. Took him maybe a game to adjust, and now he looks like a top 10 quarterback in the NFL. He's doing it out of structure. He's making things happen. He's using his legs more, and he's having fun. I know the Steelers aren't great, but that Steelers defense is still a Steelers defense. I don't care. They're 2-2.
They're still a really, really good defense overall.
They beat the Browns. They beat the Raiders, but
they beat the Browns, which is a big thing considering how good the Browns defense is, and they also were like shutting down their offense. And so really, it's still a very strong defense.
Like, this is still Steelers defense. That's like all you have to say, really. And he made them look not good. And I think CJ Stroud doing what we want to see from him in college, in the NFL, is awesome. And it's a lot of fun. And that's why you draft rookie quarterbacks, because you can turn them into something as a first-year head coach. D'Amico Ryans is an incredible head coach already. He's making great decisions. We have a personal gripe with offensive coordinators right now, Tyler and I. And
I think we can carry this into that.
Yes.
Because I think the one thing that they're doing so well with CJ Stroud, and they're doing this so well with Anthony Richardson, and another non-rookie example is Tua, the amount that the offense has been catered to him. There's certain offensive coordinators that get it, that, even though your quarterback you think can do extremely high-level stuff, there's no reason to not give them gimmies. And that's what some of these coaches are doing. And the gimmies are opening up all of the stuff that they're good at. Like the Miami Dolphins offense operates out of necessity because of the fact that they know what their quarterback is good at, and they know what their receivers are good at, which is opening DBs up and finding space. And then Tua knows how to read space really well. So what do? You threaten with the vertical, you get them intermediate, and you find space. And that's what the Shanahan offense has always been really good at. And Mike McDaniel turned that from a rushing offense to a passing offense. Now he's in Miami. We're seeing a different way we're seeing it with Anthony Richardson. They're giving him his designed run looks. They're coming out in like these wing T, like option little formations that they're running to get him going. They're giving him little checkdowns. You didn't draft Anthony Richardson to throw checkdowns, but you drafted him so you could put him in a position to go succeed and win games. So when you give him those checkdowns, then he can go make that play where he's getting sacked by 5 different guys in a pocket and somehow still just sticks his arm out there and it goes 40 yards. Like, those are the kind of plays that he can make. So set him up to make more of them by giving him more swings. And we're seeing it again with Houston. They're taking their checkdowns. They're running the ball. They're designing open stuff. And then CJ Stroud is making all of these plays under pressure and deep down the field, which is all the stuff that we wanted to see from him because of the fact that they're being able to counter off of that. And I think what Luke and I are extremely mad about is that this isn't happening for other quarterbacks around the league, and namely Bryce Young, whose offense is like they aren't.
It's the anti-Bryce Young.
It's not what you don't want to see Bryce Young have to play out of structure. You want to give him those swings to be able to go make plays out of structure, but you don't want to you never want your quarterback to have to make plays outside of the structure of the pocket. You want it to be as easy for them as possible. But with this Carolina Panthers offense, it's like they're just trying to make more backyard Bryce Young plays because everything is extremely long developing. Everything is, or it's like a basic, their offensive line is playing bad. They don't have receivers who can separate at an extremely high level. There's no speed downfield threat that they have on their roster. So it's just consistently trying to get guys open on these little like weird double moves or crossers all the way across the field. And then you're having him trying to make full field reads. It's like there's no singles and doubles. They're just going for the home run constantly.
So Bryce Young is very good at reading defenses. Like, that was something he excelled at Alabama, was reading the defense. It didn't always work out because Alabama's receivers were struggling to get open last year. But look at him when he had Jamison Williams. He had a deep threat with high levels of speed with sure hands. And Jamison Williams would go, and if he was open, he would hit him. If not, he would check it down to Mechie, or he would throw it to his great running backs. Like, you're not helping him. And Bryce can make things happen that very few other quarterbacks can do with his legs and his brain and the way that his body, like the way he works. Not many other quarterbacks can do some of the stuff that Bryce Young does. And you are trying to force him to do that, and that's not how quarterbacks operate.
Yeah.
Quarterbacks operate when they need to do something. They don't want to always have to be running out of structure. If you're running for your life on every play, you are not going to be comfortable as a quarterback.
There's something to be said about rhythm in the NFL. And the one thing is, no matter what the system is at Alabama, all of these quarterbacks have been rhythm-based guys. Tua, we saw it. He has to, like, to get Tua going, you need to have those first drives and those scripted plays to get him in the cycle where you can start making those throws out of structure. It's been that way his entire career. Mac Jones is the same way. We're seeing it right now. New England's operating a ton of no huddle just to try to get Mac Jones going because they know that he likes it when it's fast and he can read defenses quickly. And Bryce Young is a very similar quarterback in that you give him those little like over the middle passes. And then when he starts, feeling it, hits 3 or 4 of those in a row, starts reading the blitz, like the hot off the blitz, give him those answers. And then he'll start creating answers of his own. And I want to see more offensive coordinators work with what they have rather than trying to instill an entire system with guys that don't necessarily fit. There's not many offenses that are going to work with Adam Thielen and Jonathan Mingo, like not creating much separation as much as we love Mingo. But like you have to try to create separation, switch releases. I don't know, like get them in the quick game. Like I think you have to give more Bryce Young gimmies in order to see more of the stuff. Like we're seeing AR and CJ Stroud make all these plays every week. Not because they're necessarily better right now than Bryce Young. It's because they're being given opportunities to go make plays.
They're being helped. Like that's really it. And I'm so sick and tired of offensive coaches trying to be the next prodigy by installing their own offense and doing all this stuff to make them get some of the glory when all you have to do is help your quarterback and you will get a head coaching job. I promise it's that simple. If you are an offensive coordinator who has a good track record of helping quarterbacks be better, you will get a head coaching job. Like that's how it is. I mean,
they're
trying to become the guy, but
there's very likely going to be 2 Dolphins assistants that are offensive assistants right now that are going to be getting head coaching interviews. In Darrell Bevell, who's the quarterback's coach, and I believe pass game specialist, and Frank Smith, who's the offensive coordinator and run game specialist. Both of those guys, by the end of the year, if the Dolphins offense continues at any similar pace to what they're doing right now, those 2 guys are going to get head coaching interviews. And it's not because they're super smart, innovative guys. It's because they've worked on a system that is maximizing their quarterback right now. And Tua would not be in the MVP conversation if they had him running a different style of offense.
I'm just sick of like offensive coordinators having big egos. Run what helps your quarterback and you will succeed. That's as simple as it is. Yeah. That's all you have to do.
100%.
I think
your offense should come out of necessity. It should come out of what you have and what you can build based on what you've got.
We need to move on because we could rant about these topics all day. We got more quarterbacks to talk about. I think we have to talk about Broncos Bears. I don't want to, but we have to. Justin Fields looked very good for most of the game. Yeah. He looked like the Justin Fields we all knew for most of this game.
Yeah. I mean, he had one incompletion on like 25 attempts.
Yes.
And it was a Hail Mary at the end of the half. So it wasn't even a real incompletion. So, but then in the fourth quarter, I mean, when your defense is not helping you out late in the game, I mean, the Broncos should not be able to. There's not much. I mean, both of these teams are operating in a weird space because you've got Justin Fields, who is likely going to get replaced at the end of this year. And Justin Fields is already a product of a coach being replaced. Like Matt Nagy drafted Justin Fields to save his job. Then Nagy gets fired and Eberflus comes in and it's not his quarterback. And that's what's probably going to end up happening to, Caleb Williams, because they're going to end up drafting Caleb Williams or whoever. Then they're going to end up firing the head coach a year later. And then some coach is going to have to work with a quarterback he didn't draft and he didn't get to see in his rookie year. This is just such a weird cycle where it's like, maybe you just want to fire him now and just get it over with if you're going to do it anytime soon. If you have an idea that you're going to fire a coach at the end of the season, just get it over with. And on the other side, you've got the Broncos, where it's just that they have so much talent. Like they have a lot of interesting talent on that roster.
Really good players on this team.
They just aren't putting it together. And I don't know that Sean Payton was worth a first round pick. And now he probably won't get
forgot
fired
about that
because of you're not going to fire him after 1 year. I sunk cost fallacy exists for a reason. They're not going to just cut ties immediately. He should probably be fired too.
Probably. I mean, listen, their wide receiver core is very good. Like I'm looking at this wide receiver core, and I'm
banged
like,
up at times. They've been banged
yes,
up throughout the
but
year.
Cortland Sutton, Jerry Jeudy, Marvin Mims, those are three good receivers.
And Marvin Mims has been outstanding in minimal opportunities.
Then they
He's been amazing.
Like Javonte Williams was really good his rookie year. He gets 2 carries for no yards this game. Like,
did he get hurt? He may have gotten hurt.
I mean, maybe, but that's still he had 3 catches for 9 yards. But
you have
2
a lot
rushes.
of talent. Samaje Perine is a good football player as well. Like,
I just don't understand.
Javonte
where
Williams
is it going wrong?
Hurt. Javonte Williams got hurt, but
okay.
their offense,
I
think it's
excuse.
like I don't know. I mean, like I don't even think Rust is playing that bad. It's just
Russ was 21 for 28 with 223 yards and 3 touchdowns.
The sum is somehow worse than the parts. And at some point, I think that comes down to coaching.
It has to.
Like, are they just not pulling out? I mean, they won this game, but are they just not pulling
out of luck, man?
At some point, when you get 70 put on you and then you're down huge in a lot of games, like, I don't know.
I don't know. I don't
know
that
Sean Payton is the answer. You're the one who brought it up.
I know, but because we have to. Because what? The Bears deserve to win this game, and they lost it because of coaching. And the Broncos have a better team and probably should have won this game on paper.
They should have won it a lot.
They won it in spite of coaching.
Yeah, I don't know.
These teams are both bad because of coach. Like the Bears team, that roster is not great.
Yeah,
but they're not doing. It's the Bryce Young thing.
They shouldn't be this bad.
Exactly. Obviously, that offensive line isn't good. Justin Fields should not have ran the ball 4 times in this game.
He shouldn't be. Yeah, I mean, and I honestly don't remember how many of those were designed, but he should be getting at least 5 designed rushes a game.
It's like, alone. Yeah, I just don't understand. I don't know, man. I feel like a lot of the NFL right now is in a weird limbo state where either their coach isn't doing it for them or their quarterback isn't doing it for them.
Yeah, I don't feel super positive about a whole bunch of teams right now. It doesn't feel like there's
2 teams.
It's like the 49ers are awesome.
4 teams tops that I'm like, yeah.
Yeah. The 49ers are great. The Eagles are pulling out games, but they're looking iffy.
Which is expected when you lose both coordinators. Let's put that out there.
For sure. But I'm saying, like, or do I feel sure that they're like the team in the NFC? No, it's the 49ers right now. The Chiefs, you feel good because they have Patrick Mahomes.
But that's it.
Is there another team outside of those 3 that you feel like super strongly about?
I would like to feel good about you guys, but can I?
Yeah.
I would like to feel good about the Cowboys, but they lost to the Cardinals.
Yeah. And they just lost Trayvon Diggs for the year.
Yeah. I'd like to feel good about the Bills, but they lost the Jets, the Jets
I'd like to feel good about the Bengals, but they're terrible. I don't understand it. I mean,
needs to be fired.
Joe Burrow needs to be put on ice. I understand that coming out of the beginning of the year, you were like, okay, he's going to play week 1, but we've gotten to this point where it's like, I'm not sure. Like they're like, oh, he's healing week by week, but he might be getting worse. And I think
definitely.
But now we're getting to the point where, are you gonna not? It's a weird predicament because are you gonna bench him and potentially punt on 3 or 4 more games, and then you might be like 1-6 or 1-7 and pray you can come back, or are you just gonna hope that he somehow figures it out off of injury? None of this would have happened if you would have benched him for the first month of the season, which you probably would have had the same record or close to it anyway. But now you're at a point where if you bench him for a month, your season's probably over. But if you play him, your season might still be over and your future might be in jeopardy. So,
I mean, going from 16-19 win versus the Rams to a 3-27 game against the Titans, this Titans team is bad.
They're not good, especially on offense. They're not good. Their defense their defensive front is great. Like that's a team that's going to wreak havoc because they have Jeffrey Simmons, Tier Tart.
But they're always
a bunch of guys who are balling on the front. But you have to come out and you have to beat that team. That is a
You have
must-win
to.
game
Like,
this
you
early
have
in the
to.
season. And you have if you're the Bengals, you have a front that you should feel very confident about against the Titans offensive line, and you lost by 24.
The Bengals, the meme of Penei Sewell blocking and anybody being wide open and Jamar Chase being wide open and Joe Burrow getting hammered is starting to be like too true. But
Semi-true.
their offense their offensive line has improved greatly over the last few years, and it's a better
But they
offensive line.
haven't been good this year.
Yeah, but like on paper, that should be a good offensive line at this point when we're looking at it.
But like
But
the
it's worse
Lyle
in the year.
Collins signing doesn't work out.
Yeah,
Like you signed Ted Karras and Alex Kappa, who both played out of their minds the first year they were there, and now they're looking more like Ted Karras and Alex Kappa. And it's just, I think it gets a little hairy now that you just paid Joe Burrow. T. Higgins is probably not staying, and he hasn't been good this year because there just haven't been enough targets to go around. Like you're likely. I know we talked about the Bills before the season as a team that's likely out of a Super Bowl window. Is that the Bengals now?
Bengals are getting very close to it, and I think they have to make the most of the T. Higgins stock that they have and get him out.
This reminds me of the end of Russ Seahawks in a bit of a way, because it just seems like there was so much gas, and now it just seems like everyone was straining so hard, and they outperformed what they should have for like 3 years or 2 years in a row. And now it just seems like everything is slowly crumbling. And then all of a sudden we're gonna miss 4 Joe Burrow games.
And you're gonna be 1-10 at
you're gonna somehow be like a game out of making the playoffs late in the season, and then that will be like the difference between whether or not coaches are fired or not. And it's like
Zach Taylor needs to go. I think I want to shout out one more quarterback. I was gonna make it Sam Howell because he probably deserves it, but Matthew Stafford is the toughest man alive. Like, that guy is being held back
dealing
at this point.
It's kind of funny that I know the Sean McVay offense is scheming guys open, and like they know and that's not anything against Matthew Stafford. He's making like absolutely arrogant throws where it's just like, here's quadruple coverage and I'm going to put it in between all 4 of them. He's playing out of his mind right now. But it is funny that we talked about like, oh, is the Rams supporting cast like too good and Matthew Stafford isn't great? But now it's like the Rams supporting cast, you might be able to name like two guys on it, 3 guys.
People know Puka because of
Matthew Stafford making him. Also, I think it's like
Cooper Kupp right now.
The 3 receivers with the most receptions through 4 games are Calvin Johnson when he was at Stafford, Cooper Kupp when he was with Stafford, and Puka, who was with Stafford. And it's just, the dude is on fire.
Puka's a great guy, and I'm very happy for him because we got to talk to him in Mobile. I'm very happy for Puka. This is awesome. But like, nobody expected this from Puka. We like Puka, and we didn't expect this level from Puka. But without Kupp, who else is he going to throw to? Tutu Atwell? Van Jefferson?
I'm just really happy for Stafford that after last year, a rough year with an injury, people were like, yeah, he's finished. It's over. The Rams need to move on and fully rebuild. And now he's balling out. So I'm happy for him, and I hope he continues to do so.
Yeah, and it is funny with Stafford that the whole point of him getting traded to the Rams was like the Lions roster is bereft of talent. They need a rebuild. And now he's on a Rams roster where he is once again outlasted a rebuild, and he is likely like not going to win anything else there. And it doesn't matter because he got his ring, but they had so much talent, and now it just slowly keeps slipping away. And I wonder if this is not the last team that Matthew Stafford is on. And if he goes elsewhere, something tells me he probably wants to retire a Ram, but it would be funny to see him like get moved one last time to another team to go try to win one more ring.
It'd be great if he just like this year just gets traded.
Trade deadline. You are a New York Jet.
And they win it all. And then he has 2 rings. And what are you going to do? Like, what can you say at that point? If he's got 2 rings, he's Hall of Fame Stafford. Best trade quarterback ever. Best quarterback to ever be traded multiple times. It's probably false. However, Who cares? We're going to move on, and we are going to Tyler. It's not important. This is
I'm
not
now
an
going to think
immaculate
about
grid.
it too much.
This is not an immaculate grid.
Brett Favre comes to mind, but I don't know if he was
He didn't
traded
get traded,
twice.
did he?
He got traded from the Falcons to the Packers.
Yes.
Was
I don't think he got traded
either
after that.
were either of the ones to the Jets or the Vikings trades?
Maybe the one to the Jets was. I don't think the one to the Vikings was. That could be opposite though. I could be just completely wrong.
Well, Packers traded Brett Favre to the Jets.
I'm taking Stafford.
So am I. One of them did not defraud welfare.
The whole state of Mississippi,
yeah,
or Missouri. Who cares? He'll probably sue us for this. Like he did to Pat McAfee. So this is all parody.
Yeah, please don't sue us, Brett Favre.
Moving on, we're picking a game of the week. And
I'll go first because I've got the obvious one.
Okay.
I wanted to pick yours, but you don't know ball, and thus you're allowed to pick this one. But I'm going to go with the obvious answer. I believe it's Sunday Night Football. Yes, it is. It's Cowboys 49ers. Ezekiel Elliott will not be playing center this time around. But hopefully we get a good game there. The 49ers are just balling. I don't see a world where they lose anytime soon. But, the Cowboys, I guess, are like the second or third best team in the NFC right now. And to be honest, next week's schedule isn't that great, unless I want to talk about like Bills, Jaguars, and
Giants, Dolphins.
If the Dolphins lose to the Giants, I will come on.
There's no more podcasts.
I will come on here and denounce my fandom. But there's my little bet for the week. I will denounce my fandom, and if they win, I will be trash talking Luke for the entire episode. However,
I won't care.
You're up, but I picked 49ers Cowboys. I think it could be a good matchup. A lot of fun defensive players, a lot of fun offensive players. You're up with the ball knower matchup of the week.
Yeah, this one's mostly because I want the Eagles to lose. And I think the Rams got a chance. The Eagles didn't look great versus a not very good Commanders team. I can't get over that is the name of the team in Washington.
It is a bad name. I don't think it's as bad as a lot of people give it credit for. Like, I think people are like, oh my God, it's terrible. But it is bad.
It's not good. It's not an NFL team. It's like you couldn't get the rights to an NFL team.
Their colors are also terrible.
Yeah.
And the jerseys suck.
And the stadium.
And the stadium
and the players. They just suck.
Whoa.
Not all of them, but I like a few of them. Big Brian Robinson guy.
It's just why would you had the opportunity, like, just a quick rant, completely fresh start. You could have gone sick. Like, everyone talks about how cool the 90s NBA jerseys are and like all these like wild, wacky color schemes, and all the best jerseys in the NFL people love are like weird ones. And you were like, you know what? We're gonna just keep the burgundy and gold. And I'm just it's the worst. Cool. It's possibly the worst color combination in sports.
It's not even a good burgundy. And the gold is like a little mustardy. I don't know. This is not what this is about. I think that the Rams can beat the Eagles. The Eagles only play one noon game all year, which is a fact I found out recently. And that's wild to me that they only play one noon game all year.
You mean to this point?
No.
What time are their games at home?
4:05 or prime time.
They're in Philly. Why are we doing this?
It's not. I mean, it was in Philly this week and it was a 4:05 game.
That's disgusting. What happened to the game I love?
What happened to our league? What happened to our league?
Yeah, everyone's talking about Taylor Swift. The real problem is that East Coast teams should be playing at 1 and West Coast teams should be playing at 4. And
I agree.
The AFC team should be on CBS and the NFC team should be on Fox. We have to dump streaming, putting games on Prime Video. What if I don't have a smart TV? What happened to my sacred game?
Bring it back. Bring it back. Bring back good football. I mean, TV and streaming and scheduling has really ruined all sports. Like, Big Noon Saturday for Fox is the worst thing to ever exist. They played a game in Colorado at noon.
Why?
It's just stupid. But this is a rant that we can talk about at some other point. I think the Eagles are a great team, obviously. But they have had their struggles, and people are talking about Swift like he's their savior, and he's just running behind the best line in football. He's playing well. Don't get me wrong.
He's playing very well, but he's not like some generational
running back. Yeah, like
and Aaron Donald.
He likes to make holes disappear, and it's kind of his thing. So he's gonna stop the run. That's how it is. Puka's gonna have a billion catches because Bradbury's old, and that's like those. That's how you beat the Eagles. Is you move the ball with consistency, and that's something that the
I think that is how you beat most teams.
Move the ball. No, you know what I mean. Like you're not gonna get deep shots versus the Eagles defense. It's not gonna happen.
Yes.
Intermediate and short game is how you have to live versus the Eagles.
It's how you beat all of the Fangio defenses, and their stuff on both sides of the ball has been a lot more vanilla this year. So just kind of stopping a lot of their base stuff, I feel like you can win games. And who's better at getting teams to have to adjust than Sean McVay, who is an absolute genius? Nobody. But yeah, that's our games of the week, and that's about all we have. So if you want to wrap this up,
I will. As we said earlier, you're going to be hearing from us twice this week and every week moving forward, unless one of us gets sick again. We will be doing a college football / draft show that will be coming out on Thursdays, and this NFL little show will be coming out on Tuesdays. Thank you so much for listening, watching, however you're consuming this content. We appreciate it. Leave a like, leave a review, leave a comment, talk to some people in the comments. There's no one ever in there, but you can do it anyways. Have a great week. Actually, we'll see you Thursday. We ball.